All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. Well, besides the beautiful weather, I just want to thank you. Everybody that's here. This is a really exciting day for the City of Battle Creek and the Battle Creek Police Department. Today, I'm going to announce the appointment of Shannon Bagley as our new Chief of Police. I am removing the title Interim, effective immediately. Former Chief Blocker had a vision for succession planning in the police department. His creation of 2 deputy chief positions was the first step in building a leadership pipeline in the police department. Deputy Chief Bagley and Deputy Chief Gillian did an amazing job in those roles. Deputy Chief Gillian continues to do a great job overseeing the patrol operations and serving our neighbors and neighborhoods in a very personal and professional manner. Shannon Bagley came to the Battle Creek Police Department with a great deal of leadership experience already in a law enforcement setting. I believe this background helped him rise to the level of interim chief, and ultimately his commitment, professionalism, and passion for the women and men at the Battle Creek Police Department and this community solidified for me that he is the right person to be our chief of police. Over the past 6 months, I have observed Shannon doing exactly what he said he was going to do. Continue building relationships within the police department and the community, and leading by example. He shows compassion, professionalism, integrity, and a healthy work-life balance, and he challenges his team to do the same. My goal during the 6-month interim period was to observe and gather feedback from inside the department and outside in the community. I didn't even have to begin this formal process when organic feedback started to come in. I received a letter from the unions in the police department asking me to name Shannon the police chief immediately. I heard the same from command staff, patrol officers, other department directors, and community partners. I received calls, letters, and emails in support of Shannon. Frankly, this made my decision easy. Over the past few months, I have seen Shannon show up for tough conversations. I have seen him comfort a victim and their family. I have seen him interact with the faith-based community to help find ways to combat violent crime. And I have seen him show up to numerous events in the city 7 days a week, 24/7. I have seen him work hard to get to know the Battle Creek community and recognize all our strengths and our weaknesses. Community-oriented policing is a fancy buzzword, but not for Shannon. This philosophy, I believe, is in his DNA. You can see it in everything he touches. He inspires and challenges. This is what I was looking for in our next police chief. Shannon has proven he is the right leader at the right time for the Battle Creek Police Department, and it is my honor and privilege to introduce you to the Battle Creek Police Chief, Shannon Bagley.
Well, thank you, Rebecca. Wow. Well, I can't top that because that was just, it was wonderful. I just want to thank Rebecca and the community of Battle Creek for this opportunity. We have a fantastic team. I can't tell you how fantastic the women and men are that I get to work with every day. The biggest component that I see when I first came here, you know, I'm the new guy coming in, and so you have that relational kind of that little dance that you're kind of figuring each other out. I was immediately blown away by the compassion and their commitment to service that the women and men of the Battle Creek Police Department have. Quite often, I think they've heard me say this, they don't really talk about what they do enough. And you know, we have to do that. We have to be more engaging so that the community has just a good sense of just the fantastic work and how much these women and men actually care about this city. Additionally, you know, you come into a new environment, and even though I hail from Kalamazoo, which is, you know, just a bit under 30 miles down the road, every community is different. Every community is their own. They have their own way. So you have to get to know the community. You have to understand the needs, the wants and needs. They're different in every community. So what blew me away even more was the teamwork of the staff that works here for the city. From DPW to code compliance to Parks and Rec to transit, everyone that I have met that works here absolutely cares about this place. It made it made it feel like a second home to me. So I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I am honored to be named your chief. And I commit to my officers, I commit to my boss, I commit to this community that we're going to work hard. We're going to continue to work hard to build and maintain relationships, to prevent serious crime, and to work with our community so that we can be together in our approach to how we handle issues moving forward. Thank you. Anybody got a question? I could take a couple real quick. Yes, sir. Certainly. First and I think first and foremost, the single most important thing we're going to continue to do is we're going to build and maintain relationships with our entire community. That's the foundation on which we are going to lay. Everything else that we're going to roll out is going to be on the foundation of a relationship. And that takes time, first, number one, and it takes a lot of work, number two, right? You can't ignore kind of the last several years of that strained relationship between law enforcement and communities, not just here, but all over the country, right? So it's incumbent upon us to recognize our need to be more inclusive and more deliberate in our engagement with the community. We derive our authority from this community, right? Law enforcement in general, all of this country, the authority that we derive to go out and serve is derived from that community. And it's important that the community have a say in how we go about serving them. So it's going to be the relationship component that's going to be the driving force.
We've heard a lot about staffing shortages with police departments and sheriff departments across the country. What are your goals as far as increasing recruitment and helping deal with staffing shortages at so many departments?
Well, certainly. Well, this fantastic team over here, we had that, right? So what you're talking about is for the last 3 years, unfortunately, not unlike many other agencies, not just in Southwest Michigan, but all over the country, many of these agencies were struggling with staffing. We were no different. I mean, at one particular time, we were down to around 90 sworn officers, right? Patrol was down around that 32 officer level. But I tell you what, they embraced the challenge, kind of leaned real heavily into technology and applied some of the new tech to attract some potential officers. And I'm proud of the work they did. We just hired 16 brand new officers have now just hit the street probably within the since May. So about the mid-May is when those officers hit. So are we 100% where we need to be? No, but we are in a much better position from a staffing component than we were just 6 months ago. So yeah, we have some challenges, but we're way better off than a lot of other agencies right now. So. Oh gosh, great question. I think that one of the things that Chief Blocker displayed continuously to me was his commitment to this community. And he worked tirelessly in his relationships throughout the community, right? There was not an individual, whether it's a community stakeholder or just a homeowner, if we had a conversation or we were out and about or we were going to a meeting or a lunch that he either didn't have in his phone or didn't know by shaking their hand and calling them by their first name. So again, that's that relational piece, right, which is the most important component. So, he just, anchored that for me, that relational, how we're going to move an organization forward, the service that we are going to provide is going to be based on the relationship that we have. Every community is going to face storms and challenges. That's going to happen, right? It's the world in which we live. But it's much easier to navigate those situations when you have a good relationship with the community, so we can get together and talk. And as city manager Rebecca said, there's times that we're going to have some uncomfortable conversations, and we need to meet those challenges head on. And you have to do that through relationship. If I don't know you, if I don't know your name, and you don't know where my heart is, then that makes it difficult to make that connection and solve that problem. So as we move forward, that's at the top of the agenda. Yes, sir.
What does it mean to you to hear them say that your officers, the city government, the community is behind you with leadership and they want you to be in this position?
Well, it's incredibly humbling, right? If you'd have told me 3 years ago that I'd be standing up here and we'd be having this conversation, I would have called you crazy, right? It's amazing on how God works. And I truly feel blessed to be able to occupy this position. So it's hard to put into words, other than it's truly humbling for me to stand here and serve as your official chief now. So, yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Obviously, it's the last 6 months as the interim chief. What's the biggest thing that you've learned in that time period? Or things?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Is it a thing or things?
Things? Gonna have me narrow it down to one thing? That's a tough question. You know, I think, not that, I mean, first of all, constantly learning, right? You're always, I believe wholeheartedly that law enforcement is a profession. It's not a job, and it's a profession that you're called to. So you're never satisfied, and you're always looking to hone your skill. How do we get better, right? What we have to be innovative and creative in our approaches, right? Because we all have constraints, whether it's budgetary constraints or personnel constraints. We have to get comfortable with thinking outside the box and then applying those things within the confines of how we have to operate to provide the best service. So I think it's just the reinforcement of being fluid, agile in our approaches. I think that it solidified that for me in this position. So thank you.
When we talk about recruitment, obviously we have a
Yes.
what are your goals there and what strategies are you
Certainly. Well, it goes without saying that, you know, diversity in and of itself is important, because whether it's our organization in law enforcement or any organization within a city, within a municipality, should accurately reflect, the makeup of our city, right? I want to hire the best and most diverse group of individuals that I can to come in and serve. Why? Because those the citizens deserve to see people that look like them in their community serving them. You know, I'm pretty happy that that group out of that 16, we've got 20%. 20% of the individuals that we hired were a diverse group, right? Now, it's difficult to attract diversity, right? Especially within the career law enforcement. And, you know, we kind of alluded to some of those factors a little bit earlier, but we're constantly going to look to engage the community, whether it be through our recruiting practices vis-a-vis through technology, hopefully to expand our Explorer program and our cadet program within the city so that we can get youth from the city to see law enforcement as a viable opportunity as a career path. So those are some of the initiatives that we'll be taking. Just a really good hard look at. Love to see our hometown young men and women see the Battle Creek Police Department as a career choice. Hi, thank you. Certainly. As far as events, no. But I just met with a group of pastors and community leaders yesterday afternoon. One of the things that we are now getting up and running is our COPS officers. So community-oriented and problem-solving division, right? And these are a group of 8 officers assigned to every NPC in the city. And, you know, COVID really kind of impacted how we policed, right? And it really had a negative impact on our relationship with the community at large, simply because you really had to, how you navigate that while officers getting out of their vehicles and actually getting out and doing foot patrols and just talking to people. So not only from this new division that we're talking about, but just our line officers that are out there every day. They're getting out of their vehicles, they're doing foot patrols, they're going in, they're looking at their businesses, getting to know their business owners. You got kids out in the street throwing a basketball around or playing football. They're getting out, taking a few minutes and tossing a ball around and just talking, right? Just want to have a conversation. We want to start laying that groundwork and laying that foundation so that we're not looking just to build the relationship, we're looking to maintain that relationship moving forward. So there'll be some things in the not too distant future that we'll start to roll out, but you know, we've been in a huge push to build capacity first. We simply had to get some numbers back, build capacity so that we were able actually to start to perform some of these things. So we're getting closer now. We're not yet there, but in the weeks and months to come, we'll be right there. So, how about one more question, if there is one? And if there's not, fantastic. Yes, I'm well aware. Okay. Well, again, thanks everyone for being here. I much appreciate it. Thank you for your support, and I'm excited about the future because there's some good things that we're going to be taking on here in the not too distant future. So have a great afternoon and enjoy some of this weather.